Yo, what is up guys? Daleboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Arslanbek Makhmudov, what do you make of this guy? For me personally, first and foremost, I'll say that I see Arslanbek Makhmudov as a very welcome addition to the heavyweight division. He has a tremendously fun style, hard punching guy, very often leads with power shots, takes risks. Sometimes he is very cumbersome and a little bit caveman-esque at times, but to me at least that makes his fights all of the more enjoyable. Arslanbek Makhmudov, believe it or not, considering his style, actually had a relatively extensive amateur pedigree, and he also fought in the World Series of Boxing, the semi-pro, semi-amateur setup, you know, the WSB. So when you look at it, he actually comes from decent stock, decent pedigree, which again makes his style all the more surprising. He kind of fights like a guy who took up boxing late, because, you know, there's not exactly many subtleties to his game. And, you know, this past weekend he got another win, moving to 17-0 with 16 knockouts. He knocked out the unbeaten Nigerian heavyweight Rafael Akpajori with no real trouble, dropped him 3 times en route to a stoppage. And in that fight we saw exactly what Makhmudov's game is. He'll rush you, he'll smother you, he'll make it uncomfortable, and he'll really try to utilise those big looping, clubbing shots and the right uppercut as well. But primarily he likes to fight up close and at mid-range. His outside game could certainly use a lot of work. I've seen a fair few Makhmudov fights at this point in time, and he does have a really good power jab. But quite frankly, aside from that, his work from the outside is questionable to say the least. And even in the amateurs and the World Series of Boxing, he kinda always struggled with guys who could move and keep it long. Junior Farr is a good example. Junior Farr actually outboxed Makhmudov in the World Series of Boxing, so he certainly has his deficiencies from a technical standpoint, and, you know, he also takes a lot of risks to get where he wants to get to. He'll really, you know, charge in like a bull in the china shop, and sometimes he comes in square on, his chin is there to be caught, his head is on centre line, and he'll really load up with big looping power shots to try and take your head off. If you can remain composed and you can punch with a guy like Makhmudov, you can certainly have success, but it's easier said than done, because I believe Makhmudov's physical traits are real. He looks incredibly strong, he hits incredibly hard, and he's a big guy, he carries a lot of weight, so I can see scenarios where he does fight some notable heavyweights, and maybe he can overwhelm them physically. But in terms of skills and whatnot, as of right now, I do believe he would come up short at the elite level. With that being said, however, he's always going to be dangerous because of that power, and his money shot is his right uppercut. Similar to how Deontay Wilder's money shot is the straight right hands, Makhmudov's money shot is the right uppercut. And there are some similarities with Deontay Wilder. Not in regards to style per se, just in regards to the technical deficiencies that are masked with really good punching power. Wilder's a better athlete, I would say, than Makhmudov. He's quicker off the draw. And overall, I just see Wilder as a better heavyweight, but the similarities I'm pointing out is that both guys, their technical deficiencies are masked with power, and the power is real, I believe, with Makhmudov. Combining that with his style, I think this guy is going to be in some really fun heavyweight fights. Makhmudov now is 34 years old, and, you know, he's not getting any younger, especially with that style as well. I think now's the time to really let Makhmudov off the leash. They've taken their time with him early in his career, but given his age, I think now is the time for step-ups, really. That's easier said than done, because Makhmudov, you know, he's not a big name. I think many heavyweight contenders will see him as high risk, low reward. And these guys are going to want to get paid a lot of money to fight him. Although he is beatable, he carries real power, he carries a real threat. So getting that next level fight, I think may be challenging for Makhmudov. A fight I would love to see would be Makhmudov versus Jared Anderson. But given how Anderson looked against Charles Martin, I don't think they'll take that fight next. Anderson is physically more gifted than Makhmudov. He's quicker on his feet, quicker hands, etc. Better reactions, etc. But Makhmudov is so much bigger, hits so much harder, much more experienced. He's got that real man strength, whereas Anderson doesn't. I could see that fight going badly for Anderson, so I don't think that fight would happen. And I do wonder whether that was the initial plan, because Anderson was supposed to fight Zhan Kozabutsky with Makhmudov on the undercard. I think maybe the plan was, if Anderson looked good, they would have him fight Makhmudov, but that no longer looks to be the case. I guess they could have Makhmudov fight Efe Ajagba. I think that'll be a good fight. He's another guy who has a lot of deficiencies but carries real power in his right hand. I think Makhmudov versus Ajagba makes a bit of sense right now. I think it makes a bit of sense. I'd like to see that fight. It's certainly exciting. But in regards to the top heavyweights, real top 10 heavyweights, I do think Makhmudov's going to struggle to get that sort of opponents in his next fight. So in the meantime, Efe Ajagba I think would make a lot of sense for Makhmudov. Regardless, I think this guy's worth following. I think his career's going to be fun, no matter where it goes. And quite frankly, given his size, strength and punching power, he's always in there with some sort of shot, right? So he's always going to be interesting in any fight. And one thing I will say for him, he is cumbersome, he is predictable, but he's got a knack of always consistently landing that right uppercut. He's kind of sneaky with it, and he always finds a way to land it, so he's always going to be interesting in fights. He's always going to have some sort of a chance. But yeah, what do you make of Makhmudov? I don't think the guy is a precocious talent or anything like that, but he's an interesting addition to the heavyweight scene. Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Delboy. Peace.